Hi guys, this is Thomas from Workmania, and today I will show you a real prince in disguise, the Orient Star Basic Date model. The Japanese watch industry has always been famous for its above-average value for money. It's no different on Orient models either, they can still have plenty of surprises. There was a piece of the 2020 Orient Star Basic Date in the editorial office, and it already looks like it will be missed if you move on. The Japanese Orient's 70-year history can be proud. It should be added rightly. As a small producer, he was able to stay afloat against the larger ones, or rather stand by them, as his value judgment is common to all Japanese producers, giving as much as possible at the best possible price. In this, too, the Orient has performed very well at all times. Just think of the biggest career names in the family, Orient Mako, which has lived for several seasons, Orient M-Force, the Real Diver, Orient Bambino. A touch of elegance and a palette of endless models includes these in addition to the really cheap yet outstanding quality pieces. However, the Orient was not satisfied with the average, high-quality pieces. A collection had to be made, after which the one-time watch fan would turn around. There were several such models before. The Royal Orient set the bar high in the late 50s. Then came the Orient Grand Prix with its 100-stone structure. And in the 60s, the thinnest, finest model shook the mood. In the 2000s, the Royal Orient series returned once more for a few years and then ceased permanently. This space has been filled by Orient Star, which offers quality at an affordable price for everyone. Orient Star models, with a little exaggeration, have no real competitor in the Japanese market. If this sounds like a bold statement at first, considering the offer well, there are models within the company group that bring this quality at this price level. The Seiko Presage collection can be compared to the Orient Star family in quality. But the bulk of the Presage models start where the Orient Star ends, and that's fine within a group of companies. The Orient Star is a world of mechanical watches. Perhaps that's why the parallel with the Presage models can be felt. And within that, it shapes the strong bourgeois middle class successfully. The structure, which arrived just a few years ago, is one of the latest in the offer of the Japanese manufacturer. It's made in Japan, which is always good for the quality of the assembly, and as we're used to with Epson Holding brands. All parts are made in-house, meaning if you've read somewhere about a caliber that it's in-house. Even if that doesn't seem like a big deal. In the watch industry, it is not even the case for reputable European manufacturers to make all the parts themselves. The F6 N43 caliber is a simple and reliable piece. Its accuracy remains well within the specified factory values, and its 50-hour running reserve also pushes the upper limits of its category. Decoration in this category is not a primary consideration in Japan, so the rotor got a nice Orient Star logo. That's actually enough for happiness. The feeling is first I've seen this somewhere. It didn't take me long to search mine to jump in from where the site was so familiar. It could have been the little brother of one of the Grand Seiko models. The resemblance is certainly not accidental, and even if distant, it becomes the praise of the Orient. The 2020 Orient Star Basic Date models continue the most beautiful Japanese traditions in case form, and they did not regret the highest quality workmanship from this watch. The mirror-polished and thread-drawn parts are sharply separated on the surfaces of the case, which has grown to 42 mm, and the polishing is everywhere with a precise and smooth surface in Japanese, and there is no sign of distortion. The workmanship is detailed, every little thing is in place and ready. You can't find any will be good parts on it that are ready. Perfect. But that's why we love the Japanese watch industry so much. The prince in disguise mentioned in the title really shows up here. The Orient Star was a little unfairly neglected in the watch world, even though there's a place on the podium. In terms of workmanship, quality is 5, and in terms of price, the price range between HUF 100 to 100,000 typically does not give that much. And at that time, we had not yet talked about such important details as the metal strap. Let's see what the Orient Star Basic Date metal strap looks like, because that's another surprise. However, this needs to be talked about, and it is worth talking about. Compared to the metal straps in its category, the Orient Star Basic Date is not one, but several categories above the price of metal strap design. The strap is solid, does not rattle, does not hinge and lick, does not rattle, and the buckle is also solid steel, not a sheet-driven piece. While many don't give particularly much to these details, it's good to see that quality can be produced in this category as well. The shape of the eyes is not the usual one. It creates a massive, unique effect crawler-like thanks to the straight surfaces and chippings. Our guest model of Orient Star Basic Date brings the maximum you can expect in terms of the dial. In fact, The sunburst pattern paints different images from all directions when exposed to light, strong blue and bright sunlight, deep blue and almost less light, almost black, and as the light moves through it, it also changes in appearance, a bit like the mask of a Japanese kabuki actor. The layered indexes have a classic shape, no surprises, and that fits the character of the watch the most. The sword-shaped hands also received a slight phosphorescent and non-fluorescent staining, so the clock does not leave us in uncertainty even in the dark. At 12 o'clock a running reserve display. How good it is to see the 50 hours on it. At 3 o'clock a date window with a black date dial. And at 6 o'clock the Orient Star logo, which is now really a cause for pride. So, Orient Star Basic Date 2020, did we love it? We loved it. Not a little. The Orient Star Basic Date is a real black horse, or if you like, a prince in disguise. Invisibly, you may not take it off the shelf. Though maybe that's exactly the secret. It has to be taken in hand. It has to be taken in hand, and it will be hard to put down because when you get to know it better, you will realize that at this price you have to look for this quality if it is not a Japanese manufacturer like the Orient.